This podcast is a quest for well-being, a quest for a meaningful life through the exploration of fundamental truth. Enlightening ideas, insights on physical, mental, and spiritual health. The inspiration is love. The aspiration is to awaken new ways of thinking that can lead us to a new way of being well. Welcome to Body, Mind, and Soul Healing Conversations.
Zhanna Bright realized that her premature spiritual search had created much confusion. This knowledge brought new clarity to her work and her own life. Her path crossed with many people and communities that proudly wore this spiritual label, adhering to all the rituals, practices, and using specific terms of the ascension process. It finally occurred to her that they were still holding on to baggage, trauma, and old wounds from the past. False spirituality turned out to be just another mask preaching love and light. Zhanna realized that to grow spiritually, we must grow in the human aspects, first and foremost. Refusing to perpetuate the cycle of the wounded healer spreading only light, she dove deep into the dark, and that is where she found the gold. Zhanna surfaced with a profound understanding of personal capacity and inner power. There was no more searching for teachers outside herself, for everything she needed was within her all along. Valeria Telly's interviews Zhanna Bright, a certified hypnotherapist, mind-body health practitioner, educator, and speaker. Zhanna Bright is extremely passionate about her work and brings with her a unique skill set as well as intuition. She studied the physical body first and became a bodywork and energy work practitioner, but soon realized that without adding the mind to it, there can't be a complete healing and transformation. Zhanna chose to explore the deeper part of the mind, the subconscious. Using hypnosis and hypnotherapy and the knowledge of the body, she's able to tap into the deepest corners of the body, mind, soul, spirit mechanism. Hypnosis is a powerful and effective tool that works on the subconscious mind to bring about permanent life changes, ranging from behavioral, emotional, psychological, physical, and spiritual changes. In addition to hypnotherapy, Zhanna incorporates cognitive therapy, hypno-coaching, wellness education, self-awareness exercises, and breathwork into her sessions. One of her favorite tools is regression, whether it is revisiting moments from early childhood for healing trauma and rewiring the mind, or going to another lifetime, and even on a journey beyond lifetimes. Meet Zhanna at soulcongruency.com. Here is the interview with Zhanna Bright.
In your own words, who is Zhanna Bright?
Oh, so am I introducing myself?
Yes, you are.
Yes. Hello. My name is Zhanna Bright, and I am a clinical hypnotherapist, a body-mind practitioner, and an educator for over a decade now. And I'm a lifelong seeker and a student of life as well, and an adventurer. Yes, traveling through physical countries and in our world, and traveling deep into the subconscious mind. That's definitely one of my purposes in this lifetime, for sure, which I feel like it has been for a very, very long time on the soul level as well.
When you say lifelong seeker, that prompts me to ask a question about that. What are you seeking or have been seeking, Zhanna?
Mm-hmm. Very good point. What are you seeking or have been seeking? Yes, have been at this point. Throughout the journey of this, in the beginning, there was a lot of sort of desperation, when you start exploring something beyond the physical body, right? Beyond what we can see with our two eyes. You think, oh my God, there's so much to explore. There's so much to go into, so many things I can learn. But then there comes a point where you find inner peace. And that's, I think, what I've been seeking, and I have found it. Eventually I can announce that to everyone, that it has been a journey of finding that inner peace, definitely. And it's not about, the figures of light that you imagine to connect with. It's not about channeling. It's not about studying different types of spirituality or religion. It's really very external, still very external. But when you really connect to the essence of you in your I don't want to say heart. Heart is a big, powerful center that we have. But then when we die, right, the heart dies with us in the physical body. So something that is eternal, that is in you still, that universe in you. And when you find fulfillment, satisfaction from just being who you are and accepting yourself fully and completely, with all your darkness, with all your light, with all your desperation, perhaps sometimes, right? Fears and pain and wounds. That's when peace begins to come. And more of that you do. Of course, it is not a linear journey. It is not sort of like an A to B type of train ticket, but it's a messy process. And I thought I was looking for some sort of a purpose or some sort of a interesting spiritual connection, because it just sounds so mystical. But all I found is peace with who I am, with who I'm with, in this lifetime, here and now. Simplicity, peace and simplicity. That's, to answer your question, yeah, there's really, thank you. There's not much beyond that, to be honest. Most of the things bring a lot of confusion also, but they're also necessary for the journey.
Yeah, it's part of the human experience, right? I love when you say that you connect inner peace or the sense of peace to acceptance, embracing life as it is, we as we are, with our darkness and light, everything, just becoming one with life. I absolutely agree with that. And that has been my findings too, after searching for so many years.
I can hear that in your voice. I haven't met you in person yet, but I can hear that in you. For some reason, it comes, yeah.
Yeah, it resonates. It might be the energetically resonance.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
I can hear in your voice too.
Thank you.
So on your website, you say something interesting. You write, I made it my mission to dehypnotize humanity from a collective fear and anxiety-induced trance. So talk to me for a moment about that. What do you mean by with this statement, Zhanna?
Good question. Yes. Well, I guess to start answering this question, let's first talk about hypnosis, what it is and what it is not. So as a hypnotherapist, right, obviously I use hypnosis in my sessions. Hypnosis is a beautiful, powerful tool when it comes to healing, to connecting with yourself, with your core, to finding that inner peace and calmness and simplicity in life. And as we know, tools are tools, right? But intentions can be different. So depending on the intention of using one or the other tool, the outcome is different, right? So hypnosis has been used in our society to cause a lot of damage. Unknowingly, people don't realize that they basically go in and out of hypnosis every single day, all day long. And sometimes it is sort of a neutral state. Most of the time it is rather damaging state of hypnosis. Well, hypnosis is a very open state of mind in terms of subconscious open. Okay, so when we go about our regular life, when we talk to people, when we attend meetings, when we participate fully in the here and now, we don't necessarily have the access to the subconscious because the critical mind still is very active in the conversation and the action. So, but in certain times, for example, 30 minutes after waking up in the morning or 30 minutes before falling asleep, the critical mind is sort of a little bit loose and limp. And that's when we have that access to a deeper state, deeper mind, right? The bottom of the iceberg. And environmental hypnosis is big in our society. It's so big, right? No wonder we have so many banners along the freeways, right? The roads, because driving itself is a very unconscious process. And so when we drive, we think about something else because driving is so automatic. It's an autopilot, right? Conditioned for so many, years for most people. And when we do that, we have that opportunity to think about something else, right? So there's this split in consciousness that opens up the subconscious mind as well. And the subconscious mind is such a wise, amazing something, inner knowing or inner awareness that actually sees and notices so much more than the conscious mind does. The conscious mind doesn't even know how much it doesn't know. Right. So yeah. When we drive, let's say, on the freeway and we're thinking about something else, right, in our life. At the same time, the subconscious mind already read all of those banners, right, all of those ads that we are being fed with, completely bombarded, right? Another example would be basically, let me explain it here. There's nothing wrong with doing business, but there is this notion of bringing this limitations, limiting belief systems like you're not good enough. That's why you need to buy this. You need to buy more. You need to be like that. You need to look like that, right? You need to sound like that. You need to achieve this much. You need to buy this house, right? So that notion of, oh my God, if I don't have those things, if I don't look that way, I am not good enough, right? Who am I? I don't deserve, right? And all of those things, this is what I call the negative hypnosis of our modern day society. So social media, right? As much as we love using it for good reasons, right? It's such a destruction for the mind, for the self-image, because no one posts really their down time, right, of life. Everyone posts their highlights, right? So it's like, yeah, I had this success, I had that. And this other person who is maybe a little bit depressed, maybe they're just not, maybe they're alone, right? And they see all of these highlighted events in someone else's life and they're like, oh my God, I am not good enough. I'm just such a loser. I am this, I'm that, right? So this negative self-talk, inner narrative that is not serving them in any way, right? That's another negative hypnosis that we can observe. Going back to the roots of it, when hypnosis is an ancient tool, by the way. It comes from ancient Egypt. It's not something that was created just recently. It's as ancient as it gets. It's just the term itself. Hypnosis was invented not that long ago. CIA still uses hypnosis to program minds of basically sort of slaves, kind of quote unquote, right, to use people for their purposes, for whatever reasons they want to deploy them to do certain tasks, send them on certain missions, manipulate the mind, okay? It's a process, of course, so we're not going to go into the details how it works in the CIA, but hypnosis is a big part of it, okay? Basically, breaking the mind and training it and conditioning it to become what they want. So that's sort of the root of it, where it comes into our society as well. What other? Hollywood, yeah. Since I lived in Los Angeles for almost 10 years, glad to be out of there. But Hollywood is a huge mind control tool as well, through the movies, right? Conditioning people, even your regular romantic movie conditions people to a certain relationship pattern, okay? How people feel in those movies, right? How maybe they're either codependent or they're single, they can't find love, and then there's this, I don't know, magic happens. So there are so many examples. Unfortunately, we don't have much time to go into all of that, but those are all tools where hypnosis, mass hypnosis, is being used on our society. So what I notice in my practice, a lot of people come with anxiety. Okay, anxiety is something very, very common right now. It's an epidemic, and what anxiety is? So anxiety is never original. Okay, it is secondary state. First and foremost, they were afraid of something. So there's fear at the bottom of it, right? And uncovering, again, for everyone, it's different, right? But a pattern that I've noticed is the fear of death is very common. Everyone is afraid of death to a degree, right? To a degree. The subconscious mind is also sort of holding on to the physical life. So believe it or not, everyone is sort of conditioned to fear death. Unless you work on that as well, unless you release that, then you're fine. You find that peace. You know that you don't just die with a physical body, but you continue on. Yet, it is very common. So fear of death is probably the most common cause of anxiety when we begin to uncover things, right? Uncover. It might not come up right away, but the bottom line will be, again, I am not good enough is an epidemic in the society. I'm not worthy, right? I'm not pretty enough. I'm not handsome enough. I am not successful enough. And the fear of missing out a lot, right? Seeing other people succeeding, but oh my God, I am still, here. Wow. And all of those thoughts create that inner turmoil and cause anxiety, depression after a while. So yes, I view it as a collective state of anxiousness as well, that is caused by fear. And fears are being programmed into us, like I said, by mass hypnotic tools that were used not with a good intention or to do good, rather the opposite. So in my practice, I find it, I do use hypnosis, but I find it most of work that we do is literally dehypnotizing, getting people out of that state of walking dead, sort of this in this trance where people forgot how wonderful they are. They lost the sense, the touch with themselves, with their inner value, with their worthiness, right? Just by being, because you're a walking miracle.
Yes,
Hello,
right.
hello.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So
waking
true.
up, waking up to your miraculousness, because it's just imagine you are such a complex, beautiful being as a human, right? Being proud of that. Look at your body, how this miraculous mechanism is working. This is fascinating. So, so I find it more of a dehypnotizing even in the society right now, and bringing back people's minds to where they're meant to be, self-loving, self-trusting, instead of anxiously running through life unconsciously also, without realizing who they are, what they're doing.
So
Yeah.
true.
So I hope that answers your question.
Wow, I love all that, of course. This work, I never heard it that way. I interview a lot of hypnotherapists, but I never heard it that way. This work of undoing, unlearning. I love the way you say that, because it is true. It's exactly what happens. And but I never heard it that way. So this is refreshing to hear. And I wonder if it is possible to navigate this reality in a human body without any belief systems. This idea of unlearning, undoing, programming, and conditionings done to the mind, it's very interesting to me. But I wonder, why do we need to replace those programmings with new programmings? Does the mind always need some belief system to operate from? Or can we be free, navigate reality without any belief system? I wonder that very often.
Yeah, interesting question. I wonder that as well.
Yeah, right. Is it possible?
I think, in my personal opinion, and just coming from my experience, I think it is partially possible, being as a human, because look, we are having this conversation today just because we have internet, right? We have both email that we connect with, we have a phone. Therefore, we are still part of society, right? So, and we instantly, all these things already created certain beliefs, right? Yeah, so even eating food, right, creates a certain belief. Drinking water or drinking whatever other fluids, speaking the language, right? Both of us speak more than one, apparently. That creates, so that means we come from different culture as well. So deep inside, we're still carrying those at a DNA level, literally our ancestral beliefs. Mm-hmm. So, yes, it is partially true. I do myself put as much effort as possible to pull away from most of the belief systems, and just literally using the facts, what I'm uncovering, even through my work or through my meditations, through my personal journey. Again, it's just my prism of life, right? I guess there is no one way to live it. No, there's not one way that is right as well. There's so many ways, and all of them will be valid. But I think, and I believe, again, that's a belief system, right? That the inner peace helps to embrace all of them, that acceptance and peace. So yes, I guess belief systems that are conditioned in the society, right, that are not necessary. So simplicity comes from removing things, not from adding them, right? Peace also is closely related to simplicity, I believe. So removing most of the things that we've learned so that we can finally hear ourselves. And I guess partially, I don't think, if we're still human, that it is purely possible to be completely free of any belief.
I agree. And I love the way you gave the example of even the simple practice or eating food or brushing the teeth, those basic things we do, yeah, it has been programmed. There's a lot of programming there.
Ritualistic society, yeah.
Yeah, so we can't really, and then we can't really try to undo those things. But what comes to me is that I hope it's not a belief system. I don't like the word hope either, belief or hopes. Is that this is life happening, and everything that is happening, as you said beautifully, it's a miracle. To be here in a human body right now, talking to you, it's to me not just a miracle, that's just a word, a label, but it's the unknown happening. And I have no idea what this is. It's just doing what it does. Life, through its conditioning of body and mind individually, all of us doing what we do, this dance, this movement of life itself.
I love that. Dance, yeah. Dancing, exactly. Dancing through.
And then if we can somehow, which is really challenging to do, not to attach to anything, enough that we can be free in a sense of just watching this dance and seeing how miraculous it is. That to me seems to be the place, the space to experience this from. But I don't know also who is doing that. That's another thing, because I see everything as life itself, Zhanna. So I don't know who is watching. Like, it's life itself watching. It's just fascinating because I know there's no one here, there's no one there, no one anywhere. It's just life in its unique expressions through conditionings doing what it does. So that is so amazing, isn't it? I mean, even to talk about it's incredible to me. So another question I have for you, with that in mind, I have so many questions, not enough time. But another thing that you write that I absolutely love, you say, false spirituality turned out to be just another mask preaching love and life. This is one of the insights you found throughout your journey. So talk to me for a moment about your own idea of spirituality these days.
Yes, spirituality. You know, I just realized right in this second that I don't really use that word anymore that much.
Right, yep.
Fascinating. So
good for you.
Yeah, a long time ago, used to, be, like I said, seeking, right, searching, and it's just so inevitable that people will end up in one group or another, or hopping from one to another, searching, which is an endless process, by the way. It never ends. But yes, been closely related to people that were leaders in those groups, became, very close. And something just didn't feel right, because there's such a big chunk that was missing. Healing was missing, deep, authentic healing of who you are. Not just preaching love and light, the light chasers, right? It's really so incomplete. It's so just half of everything, dismissing the points, right? Dismissing the wounds, dismissing fear, dismissing people's experience, even not validating, okay, you've been through a lot, it must have been really, really painful. It must be still hurting right now. Now, instead of that, right? It's like, all right, so just close your eyes and imagine this, figure of light, right? That's going to heal you. No. Anger, right? The spiritual communities a lot, especially New Age, right? I call it a false spirituality. Again, my just an opinion. There are many out there, completely dismissing anger or shame, right? Sort of like, okay, let's cover it with light. How? Well, what is going to do? What is it going to do? How are you going to release your anger? Because anger is a beautiful, healthy emotion. What's wrong with it? Nothing, right? It's a response, right? You are human, humanness comes first, right? We can't bypass being human. Oh boy, bypass, that's a very good word. Spiritual bypassing, right, is very common in people that use even a specific language, right? It's sort of like the communities speak a certain way, a certain tone of voice, even yet being energetically so heavy. I don't know if you notice, probably you do, like people's energy, right, introduces themselves before they begin to speak. So yes, that heaviness behind, that mask, right? Mask from Greek is persona, right? Creating that persona that is, wearing your spirituality on the sleeve, using it, certain outfits or tattoos or whatnot. So, embracing the darkness of you, right? Embracing the pain, embracing your story, your experience, who you were, how you came here to be, right? All of your experiences, crying, getting angry, releasing that shame. Yes, it's all valid. It's all valid. It's not going to be done through imagining figures of light, rainbow, whatever it is. Yeah, so that's been my experience, and I pulled away from it so strongly because I just noticed that people were not ready to look deeper. Other than, how, I don't even know who said that, but I think I saw it somewhere. First you awaken to light, then you awaken to, to darkness, and then you awaken to yourself. Yes, it's a process. And the sort of, when you discover that light, love and light communities, know that this is the very, 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 very first step. It's a long journey ahead.
And that it's an everyday, every moment journey, right, Zhanna? It's not something that a destination that we arrive at and we claim to know, right? Absolutely. Yes. I love your perspective. It really resonates because I do realize that this is this dance of both dark and light. And it seems like essentially it is, because I don't believe in duality. It's actually a non-dual kind of realization that there's just one thing. And
it's one.
Not two. But it is the one and two anyway. The two, the three, and the billion, it's also the one. So it's kind of everything is the one in many, which is, the mind can't get it anyway. Doesn't matter how much we try to explain with words, it doesn't get it.
Yes, it resonates, your perspective. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we can't really explain things like that. It's the conscious mind is just so limited. It's I can't even begin to explain that. Just like talk therapy, people come to hypnotherapy. In my practice, after 5, 10, 15, a lifelong therapy,
Yeah.
Like, what have you been doing?
Yeah.
Therapy doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be that, you don't have to spend years to hopefully one day begin to live your life. It's just not that, because that's what it utilizes, right? That 10% or even less than that of the total mind power. It's so limiting. It's so sort of keeping you in that same space, running, it's very sad.
So true. We hold so many limiting belief systems and conditionings, which is also part of life itself. I guess that's why we have this balance. It really seems to be a balance now. 50% of the population in the world, they're looking to make this reality more peaceful. And then the other half, that's quite the opposite. And then you have both sides dancing, and it's just incredible to me. I always think about nature when I think of us human beings, that's what we are, nature itself. We're almost at the end, and I have so many questions for you here. Let me try to go through the ones that really resonate and that I wanted to ask you questions about, to the ones that don't resonate. What have you found in doing hypnotherapy, those sessions? What have you found that supports this idea of life after death or mind continuation, Zhanna?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, it's a it could be a very long conversation.
Yes, right.
Again, coming from just experience, just observation of what I had myself experiences, right? And the clients that I take on journeys to, either it's a past life regression or a journey in between lifetimes journey. Again, I don't think anyone truly knows. I don't think anyone really has the answers. I don't claim that I do have the answers. Again, just an experience. Noticing how, where do I begin? So let's just probably limit this answer to the concept of incarnation on Earth as a human, because incarnation is a very, very large topic, can be. But no, I noticed how, to me, an indicator of something deep or something true that is happening is the emotional release, for example, one of them, right? Or an interesting ability of some people, not everyone. Everyone experiences regression in their own unique way. Some people experience it as if they are already they are there, right? As if they live as that person they once were, and they know all of that information completely, and they just deliver everything that they go through in their mind. Again, it's retrieving information, right? It's not imagination in this case that we're using. Imagination is to imagine something, right? But retrieve information is a different function of the subconscious mind, of the mind, to sort of look at what already happened. So a good indicator would be something that we can't change anything in that scenario. We can only sort of either relive it or be an observer, or look around and go look around what was happening, what already happened, or what is still happening, because time it's not a very linear concept, right? There's no real no past, really. Sort of a version of you still lives in that scenario. So what makes me believe that there is life after we die in the physical body is these authentic experiences of people that go through, that release certain things, that heal unexplainable, phobias or fears or whatever they're going through here and now, something that is still disturbing their life, and they couldn't explain how they got it. That's one thing. Like I said, authentic emotions, very strong emotional response to those journeys, let's say. Little children that still remember where they came from, that still remember their lifetimes. I've interviewed some in the past. It was very, very fascinating, very interesting. And I believe there is quite a few stories that are out there. I think they came from India also, some Indian children. Basically someone who can lead you to the place where they were buried, or, a small child, right? And tell you what was their name, how they died, and all those stories. Again, it's a very interesting concept. Right? It's a very interesting concept. As a child, I knew also when I was a child, I would be sitting in nature somewhere in the grass and looking at the sky. And I remember myself thinking, not necessarily talking. I think I wasn't really a talker at all. As a child, I was very quiet. And I was thinking to myself, why am I here again? No, I didn't know anything, right? I was, 3. So I didn't really know why I was thinking that. I still don't know. But the fact is the fact that I do clearly remember those moments when I would be looking up or looking into the nature. I was deeply connected to that. And just thinking that, why am I here again? And I was so sad and frustrated. I was very, very sad because I didn't want that to happen. And for some reason, like I said, I don't have all the answers, of course.
Yeah, that is, I have the same experience of being very little and having those thoughts coming into the mind and just not understanding them. But now what I see is because everything's connected and there's just life happening, one thing, one life. So it kind of doesn't surprise me that we have all these remembrances or the memories, because it's not your memory or my memory. It's everyone's memory. It's everything. It's one. It's connected.
Collective consciousness.
Yeah. So it's everywhere doing what it does. And it's not exclusive. There's no one really doing that. What happens is that we tend to own that reality and say, oh, it's happening to me. I'm here. But you're not here. Life is here. In life, it will always be here.
That's an interesting,
Yeah, when you think about it, I mean, with the rational minds, it's fascinating because the mind gets that. The mind here kind of gets that. That there's here, but the here is everywhere. So once you close your eyes here, that it kind of makes sense that you would open your eyes elsewhere as something else.
Definitely.
But not you as Zhanna Bright or Valeria Kupmantelis, whatever name we gave to this. That was just a label. And that is the label that we really, really attach to it, all of us, as identification. We are so identified with the body itself, or the name and the lips and everything, that we claim to have a life, but we don't. We are life. We don't have one.
Another point, which is I'm going to mention only briefly as we run out of time now, another illusion, right?
Oh, for sure. Yes.
What I found, again, in my practice, it is very common. Not many people know about it. We live in this spiritual world, right? It's not just physical world, and it's all around us, even if we don't see it with our physical eyes. Spirit attachments is a very common thing, and those spirit attachments again, there are different categories, but let's say deceased spirit, right? A deceased person, the spirit is disturbed for some reason, right? It's sort of like all around, looking for a body to get attached to. And any emotion, any fear, any, sort of even an event where people lose their consciousness during maybe surgery or a car accident or whatever, like a tragic moment, that spirit will have an opening to get attached to the physical body, and that spirit, whatever their experiences were before, will be influencing the other person's behaviors and thoughts. And when that spirit has been released from their energetic and physical body, the person comes back to what they used to be. And it's very common, it's very common. I help release sometimes when it's necessary, when it comes through in the hypnosis session. I do help them to sort of like get out of the person, because it's not supposed to be that way. It's not healthy.
Yeah, and that's when I say and I write about these things, and I'm not denying the duality, reality of the mind identified with this one thing that's doing something. It's not a denial of that, and I know that this could very much happen. What you're saying, that spirit attachments, which I interview people about that. This is actually our conversations in duality. That there is a problem, there's an issue, unhealed symptoms, and we are trying to, somebody's trying to heal. Of course, this is happening, but no one's doing it. That's the thing. that's really, really, really challenging for the mind to understand, that there's no one really doing anything, but life itself just dancing that dance. Like when you talk about the fear of death that most of us fear, to die, to lose the body, that's an interesting one. When they believe, they replace that story, that fear, with the story that the belief system that they will live forever, that they will live again, reincarnate. So that brings them that sense of inner peace, of peace, and that they are no longer afraid of death. The implication with that is that now they believe that they, as individuals, as like me, as Valeria, will continue on and will come in a new body as the same person, the same personality. So that's what doesn't resonate.
No.
With this, here doesn't resonate, because it's just life that will, it seems like there's no beginning or ending. Who knows how this got started and how it will end.
Correct.
But it's no one's doing, really.
Yeah. It is something that we can't really explain yet, I think, in our human language.
Yeah, right. That's complex. It might be one of the most challenging ideas to even talk about, isn't it? That no one's talking even. You just talk. But no one is doing the talk. So that, it's an illusion, but what an interesting one. So you specialize in some areas. Some of them are relationship patterns, confidence and self-esteem, false limiting belief systems, fears and phobias, past life regression therapy, unsolved trauma, depression, and anxiety, among others, right, Zhanna?
Yes.
Would you like to add anything else before I ask you my final questions?
I think we've talked about, many things
We
already.
did.
Yes.
Wonderful. So my last questions to you, let me choose you. I'll ask you this one. What is another word for life?
As a human, I would answer.
Yeah. I love the way you say that too, as a human.
To sort of specify that.
Yeah, being in a human body, right. Breathing.
Right. I would answer breathing. We can live without food, water for a very long time, but we can't really live without breath.
Yeah, so true. And what do you love most about being in a human body?
That is just so human.
Yes. It feels so real, doesn't it?
It's just so real. This human body, it needs fuel, it needs caring, it needs consistency, and it's just sort of it's a good training, it's a good check-in with reality also. I think it can be so many things if you allow it to be that way, but definitely consistency and being also, being able to touch, taste, hug someone you love, right? Walk on the beach, smell the fresh air in the woods, right? All those things, I think those are beautiful.
It's amazing how life experiences itself through all this. There's so many ways of life expressing and experiencing itself. Incredible. And my last question is, what are 3 things you wish everyone to experience before they lose the body, before they die?
3 things. Inner peace is one major one, I would say. Intimacy, emotional intimacy with someone you're truly connected with. Oh, it's missing big time. So rare when 2 people that love each other, 2 souls, whatever you want to call it, truly and intimately can connect with each other and accept each other completely, and just there's not even a life that is enough to learn about the other person, to be grateful for the other person, to cherish every moment with the other person. So yes, emotional intimacy, deep connection with someone you love, and I wish everyone would find that and create that. And the third, fulfillment. Whatever that means for everyone. Fulfillment in a deeper level. If it's been a mother, then be it. If it's been, I don't know, a business owner, a teacher, whatever that means, doesn't matter. But deep, deep sense of fulfillment where you don't have to do anything anymore. It's just, you've done it. You've done it all.
I love that. I love this. Even if we can go beyond that, is this idea of fulfillment being here in a human body now. This is already fulfillment.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
Yes.
What else is possible?
It's a journey to
right?
realize that.
Right, Zhanna. It's already it. It's incredible. Yes, but you're right. It is. In the world of duality, it is a journey to get there. It seems like there's something about energy being ready to receive those kinds of information.
I agree with you.
Right,
yes.
and be able to hold the space for that truth that you already are fulfilled. So before we say goodbye, where can we find more information about you, your work, services, products, and future projects?
Yes, absolutely. My website would be a great place to go, soulcongruency.com. I host virtual sessions, one-on-one sessions, in person in my office in Encinitas, California, San Diego area. And I do group sessions as well. So all that information can be found on soulcongruency.com.
Thank you so much again, Zhanna, for your presence.
Thank you, Valeria. Thank you.
Everything that you do, how you do it, it's a beautiful work. From the lens of duality, it's really, really beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll talk soon. Bye for now.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. To learn more about Zhanna Bright and her work, please visit soulcongruency.com.
To learn more about this podcast, please visit fitforjoy.org/podcast. Thank you again for listening, and bye for now.